The left centre hints on the likely appointment of the governor of the central bank.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා දිගින් දිගටම කටයුතු කරන්නේ තමන්ගේ හිතවතෙකු මේ තනතුරට පත් කරන්න. චරිතරත්වත්වයේ මහත්මයා මේ තනතුරට පත් කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් දක්වන උනන්දුව විවිධාකාරයෙන් සාකච්ඡා වෙනවා.
International community commends Sri Lanka's progress on human rights. Sri Lanka Freedom Party to be restructured. Statement by State Minister Lakshman Yapa. Field Marshal Minister Sarath Fonseca obtains UNP membership.
Separate strike together.
Three schools suspended from the school's rugby arena due to unruly behaviour.
Well, bringing you the news from around the globe and here in Sri Lanka, this is the news at 9. A very good evening to all our viewers. You're with me, Joel Outskoon, and joined with me tonight is my co-anchor, Florian Rajchandran. Good evening, Flo.
Good evening, Joel, and a very good evening to all our viewers. Let's start off with a look at the local stories. The President took part in a march themed Stop Torture this morning.
The march commenced opposite the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka in Borella. The event was organized by the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka. A number of distinguished individuals, including the Minister of Law and Order, Sagala Ratnayaka, school students, and the members of the commission took part in the march.
The appointment of a new governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka was raised at several media briefings held today.
අර්ජුන් මහේන්ද්‍රන් මහත්තයාත් කැටුව තමයි අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවරයා මේ සාකච්ඡාවට මැදිහත් වෙන්නේ.
When the President was holding a discussion with the officers of the Central Bank, the Prime Minister barged in with Arjun Mahendran, who is at the centre of this issue. Through this intervention, the Central Bank officials lost their opportunity to freely engage with the President. Ranil Wickramasinghe is still attempting to appoint one of his confidants to the opposition. The interest to appoint Charita Ratwata is being widely discussed. We believe that a person who can protect the integrity and independence of the Treasury will be appointed. The President made an assurance on this matter over a year ago. If this does not happen, the civil organizations will be compelled to step onto the streets and take the fight forward.
වීදිවලට බහිමින් මේ සටන ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන්න පුරවැසි සංවිධානවලට සිදු වෙනු ඇති.
මහ බැංකුවේ අධිපතිතුමා සම්බන්ධයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ ස්ථාවරය
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party has a stance on the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The President had also made his view on the matter very clear. What is special about President Maithripala Sirisena is that when making appointments to accountable positions in the government, he did not give appointments to his henchmen. He appointed senior and high-ranking persons in the administrative service. As members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, we are pleased that political henchmen are not being given positions such as Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. We are glad that senior public servants are being given that opportunity.
අපිට තියෙන තොරතුරු අනුව ජනාධිපතිවරයා අලුත් අධිපතිවරයෙක් පත් කිරීමේ ලිපියක් අරගෙන තමයි මහ බැංකුවට යන්නේ.
Based on the information that we have, the President had gone to the Central Bank with the letter of appointment for a new governor. However, Prime Minister Wickramasinghe and Arjun Mahendran suddenly came there. As a result, the 6th Executive President of Sri Lanka folded the letter and returned to his palace. The serious scope of the fraud committed by Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran was proven by the Auditor General's report that was handed over to COPE. The Auditor General's department cannot conduct an investigation that is done through the police. However, they have presented the conclusions on the monetary losses incurred. It clearly noted that the governor of the Central Bank is accountable. Removing him from the post will not suffice. Legal action must be taken against him over the losses incurred.
ඔහු කර ඇති වරදට අදාළ නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්න ඕන වෙච්ච පාඩුව පියව ගන්න ඕන. ඒක නොකර ඔහුව තනතුරෙන් ඉවත් කරයි කියලා ඇති වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
මහ බැංකුවේ අධිපතිවරයෙක් අද දවස තුල පත්කර නොගැනීම තුලින්
The failure to appoint a central bank governor during the course of the day leads the country into a more serious financial crisis. The markets may fall during the next days. In addition, the trust placed by investors in the country would fade away. We are facing a conundrum. Did we bring a royal gang of thieves after chasing away the Madamulana gang of thieves? This is also being discussed. We stand against the theft that is committed by anyone, be it from Madamulana or royal.
The central bank bond issue and the saga surrounding a certain questionable bond issue was discussed on the Newsline program this morning.
Not satisfied of the February 2015 bond, they repeated the same thing with such audacity in March of this year. Who's responsible, Mr. Usripala, for allowing this person and that administration, that management team to carry on regardless?
You know, it's very strange. The moment the issue was strong or big enough or important to be considered to be discussed at the parliament, requiring the Prime Minister to make a special statement in the parliament, followed by the appointment of a committee of inquiry of persons appointed by the Prime Minister. Still again further followed by a COPE inquiry. You know, the question of integrity has gone somewhere unseen, because the very first thing that the country expected to see was this person, you know, retiring and then saying that, well, I'm going to quit until these things are at least resolved. Nothing of the sort happened.
The Auditor General had a table in there in which they listed all the purchases made in the secondary market by none other than the EPF. The total of the purchases on that day against a particular bond was approximately 3.8 billion rupees. Now, out of that, the EPF, and it also listed where the EPF bought these from, and out of that 3.8 billion, it was nearly 2.4 billion came from the company who is at the epicenter of this sad and expensive for the country saga, Perpetual Treasuries. I say that with full responsibility because I have seen it. There are some who say that a certain prominent political party benefited directly and or indirectly by this bond saga.
Finding money for electioneering, but finding money for political work is also part of the game. It is true that the Auditor General has made this statement, but Auditor General has made this statement only in one context. He has gone into the figures, he has gone to see where this has ended up, where these bonds have finally ended up. They have ended up in the Employees Provident Fund, which is public money, which is the money that is belonging to the workers of this country, where we are very much concerned. But the Auditor General, it's not within his purview to examine how an attempt was made at the beginning of this game to convert and to segregate the functions of the Provident Fund, also taking it away from the central bank and converting it to a fund.
Various views were expressed on Sri Lanka during the UNHRC general debate held yesterday after UN High Commissioner on Human Rights delivered his oral update on Sri Lanka.
Germany welcomes the significant advances made by Sri Lanka since the adoption of the resolution at the 30th session of the UNHRC. Sri Lanka is still at the beginning of a long road towards accountability and reconciliation. Leadership and resolve, as well as confidence building and credibility, will be priorities. We encourage Sri Lanka to tackle the remaining task of truth, justice, reconciliation and non-recurrence and repeal the Prevention of Terrorism Act.
Swiss is of the view that the adoption by consensus of Resolution 30/1 in 2015 constituted an historic step forward. It welcomes the efforts embarked upon by the Sri Lankan government in implementing this resolution, although certain immediate measures have not yet been taken, regrettably, such as full return of lands, the release of prisoners, or review of the Witness Protection Act.
Japan highly appreciates Sri Lanka government's efforts to date. Its understandings towards national reconciliation based on the Council Resolution 30/1 are, however, half its way. The support by the international community is still needed. Japan stresses the importance of ensuring that the government's initiatives are carried out with the involvement of the people of Sri Lanka.
We welcome the Sri Lankan government's continuing determination to address the legacy of conflict through the implementation of Resolution 30/1, a comprehensive approach to dealing with the past, restoring confidence in state institutions and developing a just political settlement for all its people is essential. We join the High Commissioner in recognising the progress Sri Lanka has made, particularly the increased engagement with the UN. However, much still remains to be done by the Sri Lankan government to fulfil all the commitments it has made. These steps will require courageous and determined political leadership.
We acknowledge the progress that has taken place in the implementing the resolution since its adoption in October last year. Our understanding is that progress is happening steadily despite the fine political balance that needs to be kept in making these achievements. It's further our expectation that Sri Lanka adheres to OP 6 in the resolution regarding the planned judicial mechanism to investigate allegations of violations, abuses of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law, and the importance of the participation of judicial mechanisms of Commonwealth and other foreign judges, defense lawyers, authorized prosecutors and investigators.
We note the openness of Sri Lanka to a dialogue on the human rights situation in the country, the constructive approach of the government to the report presented today and the recommendations in it testify to the willingness of the country to continue discussing the outstanding problems and methods to solve them, including by international technical assistance. We believe it's important to note, however, that Sri Lanka, in the framework of its national process, must itself, without outside pressure, determine what assistance it needs and in which areas. Colombo must decide itself what advice and what recommendation it wishes to follow. The process of national reconciliation and investigation of violations of the past must be carried out exclusively by Sri Lankans.
Well, as mentioned on our headlines this evening, Minister of Regional Development, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, officially joined the United National Party today. Minister Fonseca was also awarded the post of the Chief Organizer for the Kalaniya electorate at an event held at the party headquarters.
Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca was extended a warm welcome upon his arrival at UNP headquarters Sirikota by the MPs and ministers who had gathered there. Thereafter, Prime Minister and the leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, officially handed over the letter of appointment as the chief organizer of Kalaniya to Sarath Fonseca. A group of Democratic Party members also obtained UNP membership today. A leader who moves forward and his team joined a party that moves forward. We are now on a single journey. The two armies have met. Now we will strike together. We have a big war at hand. The people hope for a new world. I would like to say that Sarath Fonseca joined us to create that new world.
Sarath Fonseca Field Marshal tuma අපිට එකතු වුණේ කියලා අපි කියන්න.
මෙන්න විශේෂ පුවතක්. අද මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියේ අවසන් වීමට තිබූ පළාත් පාලන ආයතනවල දුර කාලය නැවත දීර්ඝ නොකිරීමට රජය තීරණය කර තිබෙනවා. පළාත් සභා සහ පළාත් පාලන අමාත්‍ය ෆයිසල් මුස්තාෆා මහතා පැවසුවේ මීට ටික වේලාවකට පෙර ජනාධිපතිතුමා සමග පැවති සාකච්ඡාවකින් පසුව එම තීරණය ගත් බවයි. මෙන්න නැවතත් එම විශේෂ ප්‍රවෘත්තිය. අද මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියේ අවසන් වීමට තිබූ පළාත් පාලන ආයතනවල දුර කාලය නැවත දීර්ඝ නොකිරීමට රජය තීරණය කර තිබෙනවා. පළාත් සභා සහ පළාත් පාලන අමාත්‍ය ෆයිස මුස්තාෆා මහතා පැවසුවේ මීට ටික වේලාවකට පෙර ජනාධිපතිතුමා සහ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යවරයා සමග පැවති සාකච්ඡාවකින් පසුව එම තීරණය ගත් බවයි.
ஸ்துதி நிமேஷ் விசேட செய்தி ஒன்று. உள்ளூராட்சி மன்றங்களின் பதவிக்காலத்தை மீண்டும் நீடிக்காமல் இருப்பதற்கு அரசாங்கம் தீர்மானித்துள்ளது. ஜனாதிபதியுடன் சற்று நேரத்துக்கு முன்னர் இடம்பெற்ற கலந்துரையாடலின் போது இந்த தீர்மானம் எடுக்கப்பட்டதாக உள்ளூராட்சி மன்றங்கள் மற்றும் மாகாண சபைகள் அமைச்சர் ஃபைசர் முஸ்தபா தெரிவித்தார். மீண்டும் அந்த விசேட செய்தி. உள்ளூராட்சி மன்றங்களின் பதவிக்காலத்தை நீடிக்காமல் இருப்பதற்கு அரசாங்கம் தீர்மானித்துள்ளது. ஜனாதிபதியுடன் சற்று நேரத்துக்கு முன்னர் இடம்பெற்ற கலந்துரையாடலின் போது இந்த தீர்மானம் எடுக்கப்பட்டதாக உள்ளூராட்சி மன்றங்கள் மற்றும் மாகாண சபைகள் அமைச்சர் ஃபைசர் முஸ்தபா நியூஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்டுக்கு குறிப்பிட்டார். இந்த செய்தியை ஆங்கிலத்தில் தருகின்றார் ஜோயல்.
Well, thank you very much, Giri. In breaking news this evening, Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government Faiza Mustafa says that the tenures of 23 local government bodies that expires at midnight will not be expired. Now that this decision was reached following a meeting with the President and the Prime Minister. This news item once again, Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government Faiza Mustafa says that the tenure of 23 local government bodies that expires at midnight will not be extended. The decision was taken following a meeting with the President and Prime Minister.
Welcome back to the news. Minister of Regional Development Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca officially joined the United National Party today. Minister Fonseca was also awarded the post of the chief organizer of the Kalani electorate at an event held at the party headquarters.
Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca was extended a warm welcome upon his arrival at UNP headquarters Sirikota by the MPs and ministers who had gathered there. Thereafter, Prime Minister and the leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, officially handed over the letter of appointment as the chief organizer of Kalaniya to Sarath Fonseca. A group of Democratic Party members also obtained UNP membership today. A leader who moves forward and his team joined a party that moves forward. We are now on a single journey. The two armies have met. Now we will strike together. We have a big war at hand. The people hope for a new world. I would like to say that Sarath Fonseca joined us to create that new world.
සරත් ෆොන්සේකා ෆීල්ඩ් මාෂල්තුමා අපිට එකතු වුණේ කියලා අපි කියන්න කැමතියි. මේ රටේ ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ලංකාව.
We will create the Sri Lanka the people want. We will take this journey forward with a strengthened United National Party.
සත්‍යාතික පක්ෂය ශක්තිමත් වුණා.
We took a sensitive decision based on the challenges the government headed by the Prime Minister and the President would have to face. We have not dissolved our party, the Democratic Party. The parties have joined. We are in the United National Front together with the United National Party. From today, my party will be the United National Party. I will not be the leader of the Democratic Party anymore. From today, my political leader will be the leader of the United National Party, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. We can vow today that this political journey we have commenced will continue until the end of the political future. I was brought into politics by the United National Party. I have not forgotten that past. To uphold justice in the society and to establish good governance, we took one decision. That decision is to create a social market economy. We will enact that policy to create equal opportunity in the country. We would like to state that if D.S. Senanayake created a change in the country, if J.R. Jayawardena created the change, the next change will be created by Ranil Wickremesinghe under the United National Party.
A media briefing of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was held in Colombo today. Initial discussions were held on restructuring the activities of the party. The meetings were chaired by the General Secretary of the party and the General Secretary of the Alliance. A decision taken during the meeting was to strengthen the party in the future. We will create a structured plan to face the upcoming local government election. Former councillors as well as newcomers will be included in our group.
We have introduced an amateur group through those who applied to prepare for the upcoming local government elections. Restructuring activities will be carried out through them. Decisions have been made to ensure that the alliance wins the upcoming local government elections by making sure that the alliance is strengthened. The alliance had made promises to maintain discipline and to abide by the rules and regulations which are being enforced.
An event to provide housing loans under the Samanta 7 housing loan scheme was held under the auspices of Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa.
The event was held at the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Auditorium in Matale and saw 800 families receiving housing loans.
I'm
thoroughly disappointed by the fact that the former president is trying to provide birth certificates to projects that have been done by other people. They carried out a foundation stone illusion during the presidential election season. Remember that the government of good governance does not lay foundation stones to declare open the project during the election season. I would like to say Mahinda Rajapaksa very clearly that the leadership of the country today does not provide birth certificates to projects done by others. Mahinda Rajapaksa has been challenged at a number of meetings. If you have a backbone, come and witness the Udagammana project launched by Sajid Premadasa's Ministry of Housing and Construction.
Welcome back to the news. Still on to local news. Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government Faiza Mustafa says that the tenure of 23 local government bodies that expires at midnight will not be extended.
The 23 local government bodies which were extended to the 30th June will not be further extended. The decision not to extend the 23 local bodies was taken after consulting His Excellency President and the Honourable Prime Minister.
Locals from villages and towns alike deplore the fact that their public representatives have failed to provide a value to their vote. The Think Again campaign by Newsfirst, aimed at creating a renaissance in the quality of public representatives, entered its 14th day today.
Think Again. Is your vote working for you?
The Newsfirst Think Again campaign, which engages with the public at an unprecedented level, took place today in the Gaul, Ratnapura and Ampara districts. Today the campaign moved to many areas including Magala, Panipolgaha and Samagivatta, where the locals shared their thoughts with Newsfirst.
Those elected only work for the elections and afterwards do not look into the people. They only come to make their appearance at the meetings.
They only come here to get the votes. They do nothing for us.
Rather than adding beauty to the Magala town, this canal emits a very bad odor.
Because of the smell, we cannot even eat. The canal does not come under the purview of the urban council. The irrigation department also says the same. So who does it belong to? They only come during the elections. Nothing happens afterward. When they come for votes, we will remind them of this and not vote for them. That is the post we have.
The public representatives chosen by the people of Baddegama, Meemaduma, Jana Udagama and Ranavirugama have not done anything as yet to ease the issues of their constituents.
The issue that we have is during the dry season we have no water. During elections they make various promises.
They come for the votes and thereafter they are missing. We will vote for someone better this time.
What the people living in the number 1 area of Rasagali in Balangoda are requesting for is not a gem mine of their own, merely the essential infrastructure to carry out their daily lives.
They promise to make the roads and give us water only during the elections. We are not human to them. They treat us like dolls who will dance their tune. After the elections, they say that Rasagali was defeated. When it rains, we are not women indoors. If they come asking for votes, we will go to all the houses and tell them not to vote. We will think again before voting the next time. They have not kept their promises.
This is the road that people from Kumaragoda in Balangoda have to use to reach their destination.
A patient had to be carried on our shoulders to the hospital. They always say that they will do something. What is the use of making false statements for votes?
This bus stand in Kalmunai, Ampara had not been renovated in quite some time. This has caused many grievances to the hundreds of people who use these facilities on a daily basis. The Hulangnuge village in Ampara is another area that is suffering from the broken political promises. Their livelihood is centered around agriculture, and this too may fade away due to the issues surrounding the irrigation system.
They promise to do various things. We want the tanks to be renovated. The roads are also in a dilapidated state. They make promises and that is all they do.
Think again. Is your boat working for you?
Through the nationwide Think Again campaign, we realized that the politicians have not fulfilled the promises given to the people.
Therefore, News First has undertaken the initiative of organizing 4 massive rallies in 4 separate locations around the country in order to put pressure on the politicians and stress on the importance of fulfilling public aspirations.
Preparations are being made by News First to organize 4 massive rallies in 4 separate locations around the island on Saturday, the 2nd of July. The Southern Province rally will commence from opposite the Boralavawa in Valikama.
We hope to bring together public from all over the Southern Province and create a massive movement through the Think Again campaign. We invite all voters in the Southern Province to come before the Valikama Boralavawa on Saturday at 4 p.m.
The Think Again rally in the North Central Province will commence from Nochiagama.
During our campaign, we witnessed firsthand the myriad of difficulties encountered by the public. They say that once they are elected to Parliament, the promises made are not fulfilled. The people that gather at Nochiagama at 4 p.m. on Saturday will shed light on their true plight. We are geared to listen to what the people of North Central Province have to say with regard to their elected public representatives.
The Think Again rally in the Central Province will commence on the banks of Batuwatanna, Laksirikama in Lakkala.
The final leg of the News First Think Again campaign, which is launched with the aim of judging whether a value has been provided to your boat, will be worked off in Laggala, Mathale. We wish to inform that a platform has been created for you to express your views. We invite all of you to join us in this endeavour.
The rallies in the north and east will commence from Kalavanchikudi and Batiklo.
All preparations have been made to hold the News First Think Again final rally in the Batiklo district. We intend to shed light upon the issues such as the human-elephant conflict, lack of clean drinking water, lack of necessary infrastructure facilities and several other topics.
On to sports, the Ministry of Education has decided to impose suspensions on 3 schools that were involved in brawls that took place during the inter-schools under-20 rugby tournament. The Radhamaralda College Candidate rugby team has been given a 9-month suspension, while 7 members of their team have been slapped with 1-year suspensions. Now you could follow this story, the complete story, on our website www.newsfirst.lk.
Well, with that, we wrap up primetime news here at News First.
Well, before we wrap up tonight's news, here's a look at how the governor of the central bank addressed the media when questioned about the allegations that are raised against him.
No comment. No comment.
Well, what we have to say about this matter is also no comment.
Take care and good night.
Good night.